bride's sister wore a torn dress to the wedding. Then the groom called her, "my queen." The sun rose gently over the small town of Ikit, painting the sky with soft shades of orange and gold. It was supposed to be the most beautiful day for Clara, the eldest daughter of the Okafor family, her long-awaited wedding day. The compound buzzed with music, chatter, and the aroma of freshly cooked jollof rice drifting through the air. But while everyone rushed about in bright clothes and smiles, one young woman stood in the corner of the courtyard, quiet and unnoticed. Her name was Amara, Clara's younger sister. Amara was only 22, with deep brown skin, intelligent eyes, and a beauty that was subtle rather than loud. But unlike Clara, she had no fancy dresses, no makeup, no friends swarming around her. Instead, she wore an old faded gown that had torn at the hem from years of use. It was all she had. "Amara, at least sit at the back," one of the aunties muttered with irritation as she passed. "Don't embarrass the family looking like that." Amara lowered her gaze and obeyed, though her heart ached. She wished for once someone would see beyond her shabby clothes. Clara was everything Amara was not. Radiant, bold, and admired by everyone in town. She wore a sparkling white lace gown that glittered beneath the morning sun. Her makeup was flawless, her smile captivating. Guests whispered about her elegance, about how lucky she was to be marrying Chaik, the wealthy young businessman who had captured every woman's attention. Clara basked in the admiration, waving gracefully at the crowd. Yet her eyes occasionally flickered with irritation whenever they landed on her younger sister. To Clara, Amara was an inconvenience, always too quiet, too plain, too poor to represent the family well. "Don't come near me during the ceremony," she hissed at Amara earlier that morning. "I don't want people thinking we are cut from the same cloth." The words still stung in Amara's chest like needles. The wedding begins. The church filled quickly. Guests fanned themselves, the choir sang hymns, and the pastor cleared his throat, preparing to begin. Clara walked proudly down the aisle, clutching her bouquet, eyes fixed on her groom at the altar. Chaik, tall, broad-shouldered, with an aura of quiet confidence, waited. His eyes were steady, though anyone watching closely might have noticed that his gaze drifted past Clara to the back pews, where Amara sat silently, head bowed. No one else noticed, but in Chaik's eyes there was something unspoken. The vows began. Clara's voice rang with pride as she repeated every word, promising love and loyalty. The congregation clapped. Then it was Chaik's turn. He took Clara's hands, but as he opened his mouth, his eyes flickered again toward Amara. Amara shifted uncomfortably. Why was he looking at her? Whispers in the hall. During the reception, music thundered and guests danced in colorful attire. Plates of rice and meat were served. Clara shone as the perfect bride, laughing and taking endless photographs. Amara sat at a corner table, half hidden, nibbling quietly on her food. Then came the whispers. "Look at the bride's sister," a woman giggled behind her fan. "Wearing rags to such a glorious wedding." "Shameless," another added. "If it were my family, I would have hidden her away." Laughter followed, and Amara's cheeks burned with shame. She wanted to disappear, to sink into the ground. But Chaik had heard. He set down his glass and walked across the hall. Guests expected him to approach his new bride, but instead his steps carried him to where Amara sat. "Amara," he said softly. Every head turned. The hall fell silent. Amara froze. "Weiss, brother-in-law?" Chaik looked at her with a warmth that unsettled the crowd. His voice was firm, cutting through the whispers. "Stand up." Reluctantly, Amara rose, her torn dress drawing even more stares. Clara's face darkened, confusion turning to anger. Then Chaik did something that shocked the hall. He reached for Amara's hand, lifted it gently, and declared loudly, "This is my queen." Gasps filled the air. Clara's bouquet slipped from her hands. The pastor tried to calm the murmurs, but Chaik raised his hand. His voice carried the weight of a hidden story. "Years ago," he began, "when I had nothing, no money, no reputation, no family to support me, it was this woman who gave me hope. I was a struggling student then, roaming the streets with empty pockets. People mocked me, called me useless, treated me like dirt. But Amar, She gave me food when I was starving. She gave me courage when I wanted to give up. Amara's eyes widened. Memories flooded back. The poor young man who used to visit her mother's stall, hungry and tired. She had often slipped him food when no one was watching, even when she barely had enough for herself. She had spoken words of encouragement to him, telling him he would rise one day. Chai continued, voice breaking. When sickness almost took me, it was Amara who cared for me. When I wanted to abandon my dreams, it was Amara who pushed me to fight. She believed in me when no one else did. Everything I am today is because of her. The crowd murmured in disbelief. Clara's painted smile crumbled. Then why marry me? Clara demanded, her voice sharp, trembling with anger. Chike turned to her. His tone was calm but unyielding. You were the choice my family and society wanted. But the truth of my heart belongs to Amara. The hall erupted. Some gasped, some clapped in support, others shook their heads in shock. Clara stormed forward, her voice rising. You dare humiliate me on my wedding day? You dare call my ragged sister your queen? She has nothing. No beauty, no status, no wealth. But her words were drowned out as Chike raised his hand again. His eyes burned with conviction. Wealth fades. Beauty fades. What endures is the heart. And Amara's heart is worth more than all the gold in this hall. He took off his wedding ring, placed it on the table, and turned to Amara. If you will have me, I choose you. I will honor you, the woman who saved me when I was nothing. The hall erupted again, this time with cries, gasps, and chaos. Amara stood frozen, tears streaming down her cheeks. She never imagined that the quiet kindness she once gave would return like this. She never thought anyone, least of all Chike, would see her torn dress and look past it into her soul. Her lips trembled. I don't know what to say. Chike smiled gently. Say yes, my queen. The crowd held its breath. Clara trembled with fury, her parents in shock. But Amara's heart, long buried beneath years of ridicule, burst open with courage. Yes. The hall exploded with applause from some, disapproval from others. But in that moment, nothing else mattered. Weeks later, the scandal of the wedding still shook the town. Clara left in anger, unable to forgive the humiliation. But Chike and Amara built a life together, one founded not on wealth or beauty, but on gratitude, loyalty, and love. And whenever people mocked Amara's torn dress, Chike would only smile and say, that torn dress revealed the true queen of my heart.